Hidden Figures, an expanded history behind the hit movie, and the role of African American women in NASA during a pivotal era. The movie Hidden Figures, which came out in 2016, grew critical acclaim for highlighting the forgotten stories of Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, and their contributions to NASA during the space race. Here's a timeline for historical context. In 1915, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics was created to undertake, promote, and institutionalize aeronautical research. In 1935, they began hiring white women as human computers, and in 1943, they opened these positions to black women due to the labor shortages during World War II. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, which marked the beginning of the space race. In 1958, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics was transformed into the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA as we know it today. And finally, in 1969, Apollo 11 successfully lands on the moon. So what are human computers? Computers actually used to be real people. It's estimated that up to 1,000 women were working as human computers for NASA, mostly African American women. And a memo from 1942 indicated that women computers were faster and more accurate than male engineers, which is astonishing considering many women weren't allowed to become engineers. Human computers calculated essential mathematical calculations by hand, including trajectories, flight data, and verifying important calculations for missions. To the right, I added a picture of a slide rule, which was a slidable ruler capable of calculating mathematical equations. Langley Research Center in Virginia was and remains to be one of NASA's main research sites. Due to Virginia's Jim Crow laws, there were segregated dining areas and bathrooms in Langley's West area. The group of black women hired became known as West Computers. Katherine Johnson stated she didn't feel segregated because she used the white restrooms and no one ever said anything. However, Mary Jackson struggled with navigating these barriers. Black women were also expected to have more experience than their white counterparts just to be hired, and they received less pay. As I've mentioned before, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson were the major contributors. Here are some of their achievements. Katherine Johnson analyzed the flight trajectory for Alan Shepard's Freedom 7 mission in 1961. This was the first human spaceflight mission accomplished by the U.S. Her math was also used in the Apollo 11 mission, which put us on the moon. Dorothy Vaughan became the first African American woman manager in 1949, and she oversaw both Katherine and Mary. Mary Jackson became the first African American woman engineer in 1958, and she worked on the supersonic pressure tunnel. The supersonic pressure tunnel was a wind tunnel that helped scientists understand how planes would behave at supersonic speeds. Her calculations and data analysis were critical to the success of the project, and her work helped pave the way for the development of the first supersonic planes. NASA dissolved the last few human computers in the 1970s because of advanced technology and the development of computers as we know them today. This took away the jobs of many women, including women of color. As late as September of 1971, NASA had no systematic program for civil rights in employment, even though many of its dozen research centers were located in segregated southern states, such as Langley Research Center. However, in 1971, NASA established its formal Office of Equal Opportunity, opening its doors to diversity within the workforce. And in 2023, NASA was ranked among America's best employers for diversity by Forbes magazine. And finally, Here are my references.